Why Taylor Swift re-recorded Read New York. CNN Business Taylor Swift fans entered a state of grace on Friday thanks to the artist re-releasing one of her most beloved albums. 2012's Red Y with one of the biggest names in music, who is already fairly busy releasing multiple albums over the last year and a half, re-record songs from a decade ago. It's because the pop star doesn't own the master recordings of the songs on Red, which includes hits like I Knew You Were Trouble, 22, and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. Swift doesn't own the masters of any songs on albums she recorded prior to 2019's Lover by re-recording her hits. Swift will have to begin again on songs her fans know all too well so she can reclaim control over her masters. That's a tedious process, but also a savvy business move. It not only boosts Swift's streams and sales, but it also gives her control over her work, or at least the new Taylor's version of them. Swift didn't own her masters in the first place because, when a recording artist signs with a label, the standard legal arrangement grants the record company ownership of the copyrights of the recordings. This is commonly known as a master. An artist like Swift gets a certain chunk of the revenue made by the recording, but usually doesn't control the recording. Having ownership of her work is also deeply personal to Swift. When she first recorded Red, it was done under different contractual and legal agreements. Since then, everything has changed for Swift. Her previous catalog at Big Machine was sold to a company owned by music manager Scooter Braun. Braun's Ithaca Holdings acquired Big Machine Label Group as part of a reported $300 million deal in 2019. Swift said this was a worst-case scenario, alleging that she was bullied by Braun for years. This is what happens when you sign a deal at 15 to someone for whom the term loyalty is clearly just a contractual concept, Swift wrote on Tumblr in 2019. And when that man says music has value, he means its value is beholden to men who had no part in creating it. Braun sold the masters of Swift's first 6 albums last November. Following the sale, Swift responded on Twitter TWTR, saying it was the second time my music had been sold without my knowledge. Red marks the second re-release Swift has put out, and it won't be the last. Swift re-released Fearless, her most successful record, with more than 7 million albums sold in April, and she has plans to release the Taylor's version of other albums as well. Swift can't erase her old songs or stop anyone from listening to the original versions, but she can offer the Taylor's version albums as an alternative. Because Swift has a very loyal fan base of Swifties who closely follow her professional and personal life, and also come up with some pretty wild theories about her songs and albums, she can use her voice to push fans toward the new songs she now controls. Swift spoke